This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet. We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on. He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
That's right. Showtime. Hey, everybody. Wednesday. Summer. Who doesn't love the summer? Almost starting to hear people bitching about it's too hot. Pick your poison, people. What do you want? California, pretty good weather, but my God, you can't afford to be in that kind of weather. They're killing us over here. How the hell is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Wednesday, right here, Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday. Like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. God willing, we're here. I'm grateful for every day. Every day I wake up, I thank God that even though it's a mess, I get another chance. I'm very grateful. So I hope you are too. Could always be worse. Always. Great show tonight, I think. It's going to be a great show tonight. I get to spew a little bit, vent, pick up from where I'm constantly watching things and seeing things and wishing I can talk about it. But a lot of times I have guests and it's kind of hard to do that. But depending on the topics. But so I gather some things and I try to hold on to them. And the ones that still remain relevant when the time comes, I try to bring them to the table and bring it to your attention. I do it for you. And for those of you who have blinders on and there's a chosen few and some are just going to gaslight until you run off the cliff, I'm probably going to piss you off unless you're willing to at least listen. Again, this isn't me making this stuff up. I'm going to be bringing things to your attention via videos and texts. And you're either going to like it or not. Or maybe you'll say, I don't know, but kind of, makes sense. Just be open-minded. Again, I don't hate anybody. I don't blame the brainwashed for being brainwashed. And you're going to say, oh, screw you, Peter, with the brainwashing bullshit. Of course you're going to say that, because if you weren't brainwashed, you wouldn't be saying that. You're not supposed to know. That's the whole theory behind it. It's called brainwashing. I never believed in it, but these past 4 or 5 years, I'm a true believer. Because sometimes I'm just going, I don't get it. And then again, you're looking at me and you don't get it. I'm the stupid one. Whatever. Sometimes you got to know, but I will say that I am going to bring things to your attention, whether you like it or not tonight. And that's that. And, you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. And I'm hoping that maybe you're hungry enough to want to watch and feed from the tree of knowledge. Right here. Right here. Can't help it. If I don't do this, and a lot of this stuff's going to get me in trouble with the censorships and all this kind of stuff, because they don't want me talking about the stuff. They want to keep you in the dark. That's how good they are. And it's working for some. Not for most, but the ones that are hell-bent. I see people putting out the stupidest posts and I don't want to be mean. I'm sorry, but it's like, if you only knew. And someday I pray to God that you will, and you'll be brave enough to go, I just didn't know. I didn't see it. I was like that. I was that way 10 years ago. I thought everything was groovy. Things were fine. Farthest from the truth. And I am not a rabbit hole guy, and I'm not a Trump lover. You guys can kiss my ass if you start calling me names. I don't care. I am definitely not liking what's going on lately. And you know, and again, you got to pick your policy. And for those who think we're doing great, I beg to differ. And I'm going to show you why tonight in a few minutes, though. I got the show to myself, and I'm really happy about that. If you want to make comments and things like that, I strongly suggest you go to the official Peter G Show Facebook page or the official YouTube Peter G, so long as I'm still on YouTube before they ban me. Go to the official, subscribe, please. Just go subscribe there. I need the help. They make it so hard for me to be seen that every little bit really helps, and it matters, okay? Please. And comment live, and your comments. I may own phones. I'm not sure. We got on. So I got so much stuff on my mind. It's crazy. I need a producer again. This is getting crazy. A lot of things. But I told myself, whatever happens, happens. Did anybody happen to catch a couple of weeks ago? Matt Kim on the show. Smooth, soft-spoken, lots of common sense. We went 2.5 hours. Talked to him for 2.5, and I could have kept on going. I can easily do a 3-hour show with people all the time. Always finding stuff. I never get to finish what I'm talking about. You know, cup 1, 2, or 3 subject matters. It just, the time goes like that, and we're not even full of commercials. But Matt Kim, I liked him a lot, and I was very thankful to get him on the show. Again, talking about current events and current policies and voting and all kinds of things on what makes a difference and what doesn't make a difference, and how to, you know, rationally talk to people who are irrational. I'm very grateful for him because he has a much better approach than I did. And I know it. See, self-awareness. I'm very self-aware. I know what I'm decent at. I know what I suck at. And I stay away from things like surfing. I was never a good surfer. Therefore, I never surfed. Didn't interest me. I knew I sucked. Skateboarding, same thing. It's all that same kind of philosophy, you know. And I got tons of friends that are into it, that grew up on the water, and you know, all that kind of stuff, and just wasn't any good. Musician. I was a good musician, still am. But I knew people that were like horrible growing up. But their mindset, I'll give them credit for having the guts to believe in themselves. But there's a point in time when you got to really look at yourself real good and go, I'm not that good. It's like, you know, and again, over time, they slowly go down and into the where are they now list, and you know, rightfully so. But I'll give anybody credit. You got to believe in yourself. But there's a certain point. Like, I'm no lead singer. I love to sing, and I'm a good backup singer, but I have a certain range, and if I go out of it, I don't consider myself Steve Perry material. But I can sing. That boy can sing. That boy's good. But I don't, you know, but I don't. I do what I have to do to make things work, and it works. I'm a good backup singer. I'm a good addition. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. But anyway, again, you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's see what we got here. Here's the first one. Or say I knew it. What'd you say you knew? My first comment. Or say I knew it. Maybe I said something that I don't remember now. It's like, poof. So much stuff going on in my head tonight. Going to be a great show. A quick reminder, this coming Sunday, Father's Day. Coming up, all right? Father's Day. It's a big deal for me. I'm a very proud dad. I've worked very hard to be available. I've pretty much walked away from a lot of things that were important to me financially, to make sure that, because I went through divorce, that's how this whole show started. For those of you who don't know, it used to be the Peter G Show, the greatest divorce and single parenting guy, period. And then I broadened the horizons because there's so many big issues that are very important. And I said, that's important. Okay, when I said I was talking about being brainwashed, yeah. Exactly. But again, what do I know? I'm just a guy, does a show every week like clockwork, every Wednesday, right here, Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. Some love me, some love to make fun of me. All I care is that you watch, because I know that if you're watching me, something's going on. I get these people that go, you wasted my time and blah, 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 and yet they're watching the whole damn show. It's like, you know what? You're welcome. Welcome. Father's Day. This Sunday. Every day is an important day to me, but if it wasn't for my child at the time and going through divorce, I had to change a lot of things. And it's truly why I'm sitting in this seat right now. And it's been a long haul, and it still is, every day, fighting to stay here, to be here. But I will. I make the joke about I'll do the show under a bridge if I have to. I will. I'll give up everything except my child to continue on until we get to where we need to be going. Sure could use your help. Be nice. Just subscribe, follow, support, share. That would help. I'm fighting all these political algorithms. They just squish you. Unless you're, unless you're supporting their cause, all these influencers, and they're getting paid to say shit that they don't even know anything about, they don't care about. All they know is they're making money. I don't roll like that. I don't feel comfortable. The smile that's the smile that's normally all the time on my face is real, folks. When I'm not happy, which is very few times, I'm not smiling. I can't fake a good smile. I'm not a good faker. Therefore, you get what you get with me, which normally is pretty good. It depends who you ask. But I'm just saying that I changed a lot of things and sacrificed a lot of things because money is important, but it wasn't as important as the morals and my time to give to that child. And it's, God bless it, it's paid off. So far, so good. But but I struggle. Still a struggle. There's no big signed contract deals here. We, nickels and dimes, making it all work, sacrifice, losing at times. But here we are because there's a purpose. I'm on a mission. Father's Day. So happy Father's Day. My reward is the outcome of my child. Can't complain. Very blessed. I hope you are too. And for the mothers, everybody, every day needs to be a special day. And I'm talking about this stuff because I can tonight, okay? So before everybody starts giving me shit about, get to the point, get to the news. As Matt Kim said a couple of weeks ago, if you don't watch me all the time, if you watch me for a few minutes here and there, you're never going to understand how the show works. My show has a flow to it. I always start with stuff and then get into it eventually. It's a long show. You got to be dedicated. I appreciate those who are. I do. I love you for it. It takes real dedication. And it's worth it. But those who just kind of pop on and go, oh, he's not saying nothing. It's like, well, you win some, you lose some. We're winners here. Wake up. We're good. I love you all. I don't judge. I just wish that some thought a little bit more before they spoke. Even myself sometimes. I'm getting better at it. Way better. Getting smarter at it. But anyway, Father's Day. So happy Father's Day before I forget and get all involved and start getting worked up from some of the stuff that I'm getting ready to talk about tonight. So that's all good. Also, next week, being that I can give a shit about Pride Month quite seriously. I mean, I don't, there's so many more important things to be dedicating a month to, but we got it. So being that it's Pride Month, I had, about a month and a half ago, I had my favorite lesbian on the show. Carol. She's old school and, didn't like a lot of the bullshit that's going on in the LBTGQ community. Well, I struck a nerve with one, and she's dying to come on. She's got a podcast. Her name is Vicky. She's from Voices with Vicky, the Voices with Vicky podcast. She's a newbie. She's starting out, and we all started out somewhere. But she was very passionate. She dogged me. And she's like, please, I want to come on your show. And I get it. Right now I have control over this kind of stuff, so I can say yay or nay. And we spoke for a while, and I said, all right, you know what? Okay. So being Pride Month, she's also a lesbian, shocking, and she's married, and she doesn't like, and I like talking about the baloney that's going on, because I do feel that it's all this overemphasis on all this crap that is ruining it for everybody on both sides, on every team. Is ruining it. We're overdoing all this nonsense about having to be recognized. So she's going to be on the show next Wednesday, June 19th, right here from the Voices with Vicky podcast. Vicky, my next lesbian interview. So for Pride Month, show up. I promise you, we're going to have some fun and it'll be interesting. That I guarantee. It's easy. It's like that every week. So show up and we'll do this. A couple of things last weekend. I'm slowly going to get into the news here. We're going to do 2 more things and then cut to a commercial, and then we're going to get into. Then I'll start really pissing off the gaslighters. Last weekend, I don't know, and again, I don't expect you to know this because the news did not cover it. They wanted to cover it up. Last weekend, there were thousands protesting at the Capitol, Washington, D.C. There was thousands of Palestinian, free Palestine protesters at the Capitol, and they were defacing things, spray painting, wrecking stuff, thousands of them. There wasn't enough police to take care of it. And they just let it all happen. And they kept it quiet and under the rug. They don't want you to know all the damage these... I'm just getting ready to swear really bad. They didn't want you to know. The news didn't cover it. A couple of news channels covered it, but your main libtard channels, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, not a peep. Not a peep. It was crickets. Meanwhile, they're defacing everything. They're wrecking things, and nobody got arrested. Nobody got arrested. Turn the tables and do it from people from the right, which they don't do that kind of stuff anyway. And it would have been a whole different ball game. But I'm just letting you know that it's definitely a double-sided coin. Definitely. Speaking of really strong, Dr. Phil. Anybody paying attention to Dr. Phil lately? He's really come out of... Number one, he left L.A. And now he's got his own media studio, Merritt Street Media. And he started his own thing, putting on his own shows. God bless him, because Hollywood they're getting what they deserve. I feel bad for all the people who work in Hollywood. It's killing them. But this is not just Dr. Phil's doing. It's happening with a lot of these production companies and all these corporations that have taken over, and they're just looking to cut every corner that they can and don't care about the people. Nobody cares about the people. Sucks really bad. But Dr. Phil got out of Hollywood and he started his own media in Texas studio. And I'm really glad. But, Dr. Phil is huge. He's strong. I mean, he's big. But I always wondered because, Oprah got him started. And I always thought that no matter what, he's underneath her wing. Because, hey, I gave you your start and you will obey. I'm coming to find out. I think he gave Oprah and Hollywood the big FU. And I'm really glad. He's been speaking out a lot lately on the current situation of our country. From the old Jabberini to our economy to current and past administrations. He's really been outspoken. I love him now for that. Because he's strong. You can't shut him down. You can shut me down. I'll find another way to get out there, but I'll keep going too. But he's out there. He's got the money behind him. He's strong. And I'm really starting to fall in love with his attitude of caring about what's going on around us. He's always been pretty decent. And people say, well, he makes money off of other people's emotions and this and that too. Yes, he does. But, it's not Jerry Springer. And I like Jerry. God bless Jerry Springer. He died too young. pancreatic cancer. He was 79 years old. I got it right here in front of me. I never got to talk about that. He died on April 27th. I liked Jerry Springer. He was never crude or shrewd. Yes, it was kind of redneck, but it was what it was. And he was on for decades. So he was obviously doing something right. I'd watch it. Couldn't help it. It's like wrestling, only different. And again, you know, a lot of the stuff was baloney, but it was better than a lot of stuff that's on. But anyway, Dr. Phil. So Dr. Phil, you know, was a high-level talk show talking about people's problems and this and that. And now he's taking on real-world ethics. And I wish I was part of his show, his media. And maybe I will. Who knows? But I like it. Because I can... Hollywood... Good luck, Hollywood. You've kind of made your bed. Now you're going to start... The big boys are going to all be eating themselves soon. Because media doesn't need Hollywood so much anymore. It's the truth. It's just the problem is a lot of people live here and we're doing it. And now people are going to have to make life choices. And it kind of sucks, but that's the way it goes. But again, tomorrow's a new day. As long as you wake up, you got a fighting chance to make a difference. But Dr. Phil, really starting to have a lot of respect for him for standing up and because he can get the word out. Me, I can get the word out if you help me get the word out. But I need your help. So please hang in there with me. Let's go. All right. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I am going to start in with the brain melting and start, you know, either upsetting people or getting the attaboy Peters in just a couple of minutes. But as always, okay, the one way I can stay on this show is because I have a sponsor that I love and they know what I do and they still sponsor me. So, you know, can't argue with that. But we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes after we hear from my good friends from Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive DX7 driver. I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the news, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in the oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 Driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 Driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. Clean Star Products with their DX1 driver, money-saving fuel additive. And again, I can't say this enough. They actually have a product that does something. It's not snake oil. I use it myself, and it really proved itself to me, especially in my old Ford F-150 pickup truck. High mileage truck, runs like a champ for its age. But, you know, let's face it, as you get older, you know, you start to slow down a little bit. Started putting that in the gas tank. You just take this little bitty bottle. Is it going to show up? Yes. Take this little bitty bottle. You pour it into a clean oil change. Last the whole oil change. Then every time you fill up your tank, you put this bottle into the tank. This much fluid into the tank. Mix it. Then mixes with the fuel. Cleans out everything. Took about 3 tanks, maybe 4, and I started noticing the difference. Didn't have to put my foot into the gas as much to get it to go as I know normally, because I know that truck very well. I used to have to put my foot in it a lot more to get it to move, to get to certain speeds. Even my daughter noticed it when she borrows my truck because she's a horse girl and she goes and picks up hay when she's out of food, when they don't deliver on time and things like that, because a horse eats like a horse. Either way, it works. Wouldn't be telling you this. Same thing. Influencers. I'm not going to talk about something I don't believe in. Here's what you do. Go to www.cleanstarproducts Their website, there's a phone number there. Ty Thompson himself wants you to call them if you have any questions. You ask him things. He's got answers for you. He'll personally speak to you and answer all your questions. And should you decide to order, please mention that you saw it on the Peter G Show. Please, 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 because here's why. If you mention you saw it on the Peter G Show, you will get 5 bottles of DX1 Driver for the price of 4. All right? Let's face it. A deal's a deal. 5 bottles for the price of 4 just for mentioning it that you saw it on the Peter G Show. All right? So go to cleanstarproducts.com, go to their website, dial that number, call them, speak to them, order. Might as well take advantage of a deal. Unless you're, we don't have any MyPillow products. This stuff is for your car. Helps everything. Increase the horsepower, more lubricity. Everything, take care of your body and your body will take care of you. Same thing for your car. Cars are expensive. They're made like crap nowadays too. They don't last. They're expensive. But and gas is still expensive. Okay, 5 something a gallon. I'm sorry, in California. Sucks. Go do that. Let's take a drink. Are you with me? This is for being with me. Wow, look at that. Not enough light. It's weird. What's going on? Woo! Smooth. Wonder what that's all about. All right. Let's get ready for some deeper stuff now, because now I'm going to really start pissing some people off, and I don't mean to. I'm just bringing things to your attention, all right? Because let's face it, we are definitely divided on 2 sides. There's no doubt about it. And then you got people, the ones who are thinking something, but they're too afraid to say it because they don't want to start any trouble. And it's like, you need to speak your mind and let people know that, like, hey, wake up. But again, the other side looking at you going, how you're stupid. No, you're stupid. And we're pointing fingers. And look, I'm just here to bring some things to your attention. Whether you want to believe them or not is totally up to you. I don't care. Okay. I have a job to do. And this is what I'm doing because I'm doing it for the ones who do care. And the ones who are willing to listen, just listen. That's all I'm saying. It's like, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm getting it from other sources and I'm putting it out there. Okay? It's real simple. So first off, we're going to talk about... Ready? You ready, folks? We're going to talk about Bidenomics versus the previous Trump economy. Now, you know how many people think that we're doing amazing right now? And they'll tell you, and said, don't you read the papers? We're doing great. Everything's doing better than it ever was. That's what they're reading, and that's what they're repeating. But I don't think you're feeling it. I don't feel it. I don't understand why I'm paying twice as much for gas. I don't understand why my groceries are, $20. What used to buy $20 worth is now, $52, $47. I don't. If we're doing so great, I mean, I know things get expensive, over time, but not like this. Not like this. So I'm going to question. I question everything. So if you're going to feed me this bullshit that said it right there in the paper, or CNN told you that we're doing better than ever, stick around. Okay, stick around because I'm going to play cuts from them and the things that they don't show you, and perhaps it'll broaden your horizons a little bit. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to enlighten you, possibly. Okay. Again, I'll still love you. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In time, I guess we're just going to see. And if I'm wrong, I'll tell you. Because believe it or not, I've been wrong before. Not often, but I've been wrong. Okay. A lot of people can't stand being wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this stuff is, let's just watch. Okay, so this is Bidenomics versus Trump, the Trump economic era. And this is the great thing. This is the first time that we have 2 presidents that have been in office going back at each other. So there's something to compare to. See, now, if we had a newcomer, he can say all he wants about all he's going to do. And, I'm going to screw this. I'm going to make things, way better than they've ever been. But we have something to see here, folks. You saw what happened in the past when Trump was in office. And again, stop with the hating the orange man crap. I don't care. I'm talking about policies. Getting all worked up. I'm talking about how much your gas was, how much your rent was, how much were your interest rates, how much buying products in stores were, how much were contractual labor, things like that, all this kind of stuff. I'm talking about that, okay? So we have a president that already did it, and so we have something to compare to. And then we have a president currently, now he's almost done, so it's very comparable for, a whole term about what's going on. So this is great because we can actually compare it. And for those of you who read things and want to repeat on how great we're doing, if you believe it, you believe it. I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. You're going to have to prove that to me besides you read it or saw it on CNN, because I'm not feeling it. If the air on Interstate 5 going, sorry, I'm all over the map, but this is it. And Interstate 5, there, when you're going to San Francisco from LA, there's this area in off the 5 that there's tons of cattle. And when it's hot, you're going, and I don't care if your windows are up and you got the windows rolled up and the AC on, you can smell the stench of cow shit. There's that many cows there, beef cows, that they ranch or whatever the hell, thousands of them. And it's so nasty smelling. It smells like cow shit. Cow shit's not like horse shit. It smells different. And when you're going through it, you all of a sudden slowly get the air intake from your car, starts pulling it into your car, and you start getting this reeking of cow shit. If you're going to sit there and tell me everything is great when it smells like cow shit, it's right. You can smell it, but the news says it doesn't smell. I'm going to call you a fool. I mean, you're just foolish because you smell it, but because they're telling you. So this is the difference. I'm going to, it's not about what you read. It's about what's going on, real life in real time. All right. Here we go. So this is the first video. It's a quickie, but I'm setting you up. Okay. I'm not setting you up. I'm setting this up to show you some statistics. And then we're going to get, I don't want to hear about like, well, that's Fox News saying it, or there's no Fox News tonight. Okay. It's going to come from the libtard channels. The ones who just are getting paid a lot of money to tell you nothing but bullshit, and they somehow live with themselves and can sleep at night. They'll get their day someday. But check this out, all right? So where are we at here? I just walked away from it. All right, so there's the first one. The moment you've been waiting for, and you go, it's about time. Chill out. We're here for a while.
Finally, someone did it. They created comparison numbers of Trump's economy versus Bidenomics. Let's go through this real quick, shall we? Overall inflation rate. Biden, 17% over the last 3 years. Trump, 6% over 4 years, including the COVID year. Average year-over-year inflation, Biden at 7.4%. Trump was at 1.9%, right where we needed to be. And the last two probably hit the American populace the most. Groceries inflation rate, up 20% under Joe Biden. Gasoline is now at $3.87. Trump, grocery inflation, 2%. Gas was at $2.39 when he left office. And these aren't phony numbers. Bureau of Labor Statistics is where this was taken from. So to the Biden diehards out there, why is your brain malfunctioning so much you can't see what this president is doing to you?
I'll tell you why. Because nobody's doing any homework, and you're just hearing what the news tells you, and you assume it's true because it's the news. Why would the news lie? They lie because they're covering up everything. Biden, man, he says he inherited a 9% inflation. He inherited 9% inflation, and you guys buy that bullshit. Inflation was like 1.4%, something like that. 1.3, 1.4. That was the actual realistic number, and he says he inherited 9%. And you guys, because you love him so much, see, I don't like liars, and you can call Trump a liar too. Everybody's got issues, but we're going to get into that too. Who's the biggest of the liars? Tape doesn't lie. I'm going to talk about that later on in the show. But the thing is, he goes on, says whatever he has to say. And because you hate the orange man so much, personally, You then don't care about burning us to the ground. You'll let them take us to wars, and you're going to let them just keep jacking up the prices. I mean, you got to feed your families. How the hell are you doing it? Because I don't know how people are doing. People aren't doing it. Credit cards are getting defaulted daily. The banks are going to be in big trouble because people can't pay for their shit. I care about this stuff because it's all going to affect all of us. But anyway, so that was that. That was from the labor statistics, okay? The numbers they don't show you. They just tell you things, make up their own boards with numbers, and they show you that stuff. All right. So that was a kickoff. Now, again, I'm going to show you something now that's from MSNBC, your favorite channels for those of you who love the current, state that we're in. You probably are glued to MSNBC and CNN, and you probably listen and believe every single word. And I got to tell you, I can't stand MSNBC. They have the most lyingest people. They get paid to lie, and it's just shameful what we've become as a country. Shameful. It's a sin. I don't know how they allow this stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I quit trying to worry about how it makes sense. Nothing makes sense. We have to take it all back. We, the people, have to take it back. But here's MSNBC on the Biden economy and what they tell you and what they really should be telling you, but they only tell you half the story. So it looks kind of like that's why you believe that we're doing so great. All right. So check this out. I think you're gonna. Biden. Forget it. I'm gonna job number. No, I'll do it now. Here we go. Because I already told you. MSNBC. Check this out.
So if you have one of those liberal friends who likes to claim the country is better off under Biden than it was under Trump, you're going to want to bookmark this video because I'm about to shit all over that narrative. Oh, and the best part is I'm going to use MSNBC to do it. It'll be better that way so they don't claim we're using some biased source. So Chris Hayes over at MSNBC just did a segment where he attempted to show that everything is better under Biden than it was under Trump. And now I'm going to show you how this man is completely full of shit. Let's get into it.
Recently, while repeating the argument at a campaign rally in New Hampshire, Trump revealed a really amazing tell.
Were you better off 5 years ago, or are you better off today?
You notice what he said? 5 years. Are you better off than you were 5 years ago?
Yeah, Chris, he said 5 years. It's 4 years ago, the entire world was fucked. Not a single country in the world was doing well. Every single person on earth is doing better than they were 4 years ago. Because 4 years ago, everybody was locked in their fucking homes. Because the entire country and the entire world was shut down. So yeah, it wouldn't make sense to make the comparison to 4 years ago. But I promise you, that is the least bullshit thing Chris says in this entire video. Now we get to move on to his bullshit graphs.
We're going to show you some charts. And here's the thing about the charts, all right? Generally, you want the good stuff to go up and the bad stuff to come down.
Only a viewer of MSNBC would need to have that explained to them. But hey, I can't blame him for recognizing the intelligence level of his audience.
This is how that looks. Let's just start with GDP, gross domestic product. That is the measure and the value of all goods and services produced in the United States, right? It's the size of the U.S. economy. And like the rest of the world, we saw a significant drop. See when it goes down there?
Chris, do you recognize what you just said? Like the rest of the world. So thank you at least for admitting that it wasn't on Trump, because every single country in the world saw that dip. Oh, and when you look at our country's GDP over the last 70 years, it's really only ever dipped twice. Once here in 2008, y'all remember what fucking happened then, and then over here in 2020. Again, you also remember what happened then. Other than that, the GDP always goes up. That's because everything gets more expensive over time. Hence, the value of everything we produce will be higher.
Jobs have really bounced back. Labor force participation rate, that's the percentage of people who are in the labor force, really increasing steadily from the COVID era lows, right? It hit lows during the pandemic.
See, it's always funny where they choose to start the graph. He started it right at the tail end of COVID, and there's a very good reason he did that. Because this is what it looks like when you actually expand it out. See, this was the participation rate under Trump before COVID. And of course, as the Democrats shut down the entire fucking country, participation in the labor force really went down. And Biden's numbers are still well below where Trump was pre-pandemic. See the difference it makes when you actually see what's on the other side of the graph?
Manufacturing is also booming, thanks to a flurry of Biden-signed legislation. More and more goods being produced in America again, bringing good-paying manufacturing jobs back into the U.S. See? See how that goes?
Once again, it's important to notice where he started the graph, right at the tail end of COVID. Once again, here's what happens when you expand out that chart. This is manufacturing under Trump. This is manufacturing under Biden. Pretty fucking similar. Except that Biden still has yet to hit the high numbers that Trump did during his presidency. Isn't it awesome when you get to see the whole thing?
Hospitality jobs, in particular, have bounced back after plummeting after the pandemic. Again, not a given the industry would recover.
Now, Chris actually almost screwed himself showing that one, because he actually kind of shows how good it was under Trump before COVID, all because he wanted to show you that massive dip. And he was hoping that you'd forget that was because they shut the whole fucking country down. Once again, here's how that chart looks when you actually expand it out. This is hospitality jobs pre-pandemic under Trump. Once again, you got that big fucking dip. Then you have it going back up after the pandemic under Biden. I'd just like to point out that like all the charts before, Biden still has yet to reach the high under Trump. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you actually expand that chart out to the last 70 years, hospitality jobs almost always go up. Once again, except for 2008 and of course 2020. Almost like hospitality jobs are always in demand.
Number of passengers flying on U.S. airlines. This is the summer of 2020, right? In the depths. Up to now, July 20th.
This one's actually really easy to debunk, because the Bureau of Transportation has these really cool breakdowns. So in August 2023, which is the last non-holiday related airline travel month, we saw that there were 77.4 million passengers flying on U.S. airlines. But what's this over here? It's still down nearly a percentage point from pre-pandemic. So thank you to Chris and the Bureau of Transportation Statistics for making that one really fucking easy. Now he continues to go on with so many more bullshit charts, but I don't like to make my videos too long. If you'd like a part 2 to this, just let me know in the comments.
Yep. That was from TikTok's The Older Millennial One. This guy's pretty good. He's got a lot of good videos. He does his homework because he cares. Now, I get it that a lot of people don't have time. You're hustling. You're trying to take care of your families and everything. Well, then stop it. Then stop being a parrot if you don't know what you're talking about. And again, I kind of don't blame you, because if you don't know what you're talking about, you're talking because you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, that could be me right now, but it's not. It's right there. He told you, he showed you the charts, how they cut, how they manipulate everything. And it's coming from your favorite station, MSNBC. It's right there. He didn't stay up and make those charts and graphs. That's from your news station. But then he just opened it up and expanded it to the parts that they didn't want you to see. See, and I can understand why you'd buy into it, because they make it believable. But you got to understand, nothing is believable anymore. They have a free pass on bullshit just to make you think things so they can do what they want to do, which isn't good for us, we the people. Let's talk about jobs. Job numbers. I saw a guy, God bless it. I got some people that, I follow Facebook a lot, and I don't really know everybody that's on the page because there's thousands, but there's a few that really do a lot of writing. They're going, God, I just read in the Washington Post, jobs are at an all-time high, better than they've ever been. We're doing great. Thanks to JB. I just want to reach through there and just wake the hell up, man. Bullshit. You go to any of these places, nobody can find people to work anymore. Everybody's understaffed. Businesses are closing down left and friggin' right, especially restaurants. And I just had a friend of mine he was bitching about, because he's a kind of a foodie. And he went to an Italian type deli in Burbank. And, these subs and stuff, they're $15, $18 now for a sub. And these places, ones, they got the good, nice Italian bread, and they load them up with everything. He showed a picture, and he was so pissed, because he's one of those guys. He don't take that, he tells it like it is. And he says, there's nothing in this sandwich. And I'm not blaming the restaurants. They're probably barely getting by. Everything is so expensive. But this is why I talk about this stuff. Everybody is drowning. And the ones that aren't drowning are possibly well off and don't feel our pain. We the people. way more people hurting than there are doing good. And that's the way they want it. We're crippling us so we can depend on them. Don't worry, we have a solution. We're going to help you. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit. Everybody's businesses are going under. People can't afford to go out. Starbucks, a $5.50 product is now $7.30 if you're a Starbucker. My daughter's young and she's got money to burn because she doesn't have as much responsibility. I mean, she's 18 and I'm not going to clamp down on her and not let her be a young adult. I mean, she's just starting, I'm letting her do her thing, but she pays what bills she has, but she still goes over to Starbucks and gets the, in California, they're on every corner. But man, it's expensive. I wish I didn't have to worry about that. I know there's people that every morning they stop in, they have the phone app, and then they get out of their car, they grab their thing, it's already paid for, and then they go to work. So you have a, $200 a month bill with Starbucks for freaking coffee. It's insane. And at the same time, we got people that can't buy bread for their children. I was talking to a woman at the store. They're selling half loaves of bread. It's like, what the hell are you going to do with a half a loaf of bread? But it's expensive. Let's talk about jobs. This is a guy, Peter Stonge. And he's a PhD. And he's going to talk about the real job numbers and not the people who think we're doing good, but this is the actual how we are actually doing in the job numbers and the amount of employment and what's really going on and how our own government and administration is lying to you and me. And you're believing it. But again, take a freaking look around. Walk out your door and talk to people. And not people that, all like-minded. Talk to people in their businesses. What's going on? They'll tell you. It's so friggin' right in front of your face, but you just don't see it. But check this out, okay? I want you to enjoy this. Be right back.
The Philly Fed just admitted that the payroll numbers are cooked, to the tune of 800,000 jobs that are not real. The first warnings came last year when the Philly Fed's quarterly census of employment and wages found that instead of the 1.1 million jobs reported by Joe Biden's BLS, the actual number was 10,000. So that is an astounding miss. It's a 110-fold miss. It takes us from healthy job growth to nothing. In fact, according to Philly, 23 states actually lost jobs in that period. Now, you might recall media banging on how stupid Americans are for not appreciating the Biden miracle. As Paul Krugman put it, quote, there is a huge disconnect between public perception and reality. And here we are again. The latest Philly numbers say the BLS is overstating jobs once again by 800,000 through December, and likely over 1 million once again if you extend the gap into this year. That implies job growth nationwide that's about half what official numbers are saying, which suggests that a lot of the stellar unemployment rate right now is not people with jobs, it is people who have given up or dropped out of the workforce. Now, this is pretty bad considering Washington is currently flooding the nation with $6 trillion in spending, of which $2 trillion is debt. That should at least goose the job numbers since somebody is getting all of that money. So how can they cook numbers, you might ask? Easy. Major government numbers are mostly made of statistics. Adjustments like seasonal adjustment or so-called company birth-death models that try to estimate how many new companies there are and how many have gone away. They don't actually count the stuff. The reason they don't count is because most data is not available in real time. A lot of it simply doesn't exist, so companies and workers don't respond to questionnaires, or they return shoddy data, they just fill in whatever, since the people filling in government surveys are not the A-team. So government statisticians will take those little stray bits of data they have and statistically adjust them through a series of funhouse mirrors until they look truthy enough. What you get out the other end, in theory, more or less captures the full picture of how many people have jobs, or how much consumers are spending, or how many factories are being built or shutting down. The problem, of course, is who is doing that adjustment and what is their incentives. So you might assume a government statistician's goal is accuracy, since in theory, if you're a bad statistician, you'll get fired. In reality, of course, government workers do not get fired for shoddy work, only for liking Donald Trump posts, What government statisticians can get punished for, say demoted or reassigned to Fargo, is not playing ball. So in government, playing ball means saying what needs to be said so that your boss can get some more budget love from the White House and Congress. So spot the problem. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The lies will get worse as the economy gets worse. Bigger screw-ups require bigger lies. There was, of course, a time that rigged government statistics was crazy talk. I myself might have considered it crazy talk a few years ago. I don't anymore. And apparently, on jobs at least, the Philly Fed agrees. A new episode of the Roundup podcast just dropped. Check it out at petersange.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Do you understand? Do you understand how it works? It's all based on bullshit. Telling you what you want to hear so you don't get angry. Like most of us are. Because we know we're being fed bullshit. It's all lies. So you can read the paper and you can believe it and think how good we're doing, but open your eyes. Just take a look around. It's not that hard to figure out. It really isn't. I'm not saying you don't even have to be a scholar. It really isn't. Again, this whole year is based on, my philosophy is common sense. What we're lacking, terribly lacking, common sense. It's real simple. Start taking a little interest. It's your life. It's our country. It's our world. And we're letting a few big giant idiots dictate to us minions. It's only about 2,000, 5,000 of them that are trying to take over everything about us. The WHO and they want world order and the new world order. It's like, get the hell out of here. They're not that tough, but you and you're allowing them. Like they know better. They don't know shit. They don't know nothing. They know what satisfies them. This is, once again, why I'm giving Dr. Phil a lot of big props. Because he's rich. He doesn't have to give a shit. Because he can pay for whatever he wants. Groceries aren't a big thing to him. But yet he's taking the initiative and really getting outspoken and sticking it out there because he knows he can. So big props to Dr. Phil for coming out of his comfort zone of doing, Dr. Phil stuff. And now he's talking about us because he's sticking up for you people. He could buy whatever he wants 10 times over. But he's speaking out loud because it's the world. We all have to live on it. And they're trying to really screw us over. In this country, we are the laughing stock. We are getting laughed at by every country in the world. They know what's going on. It's a whole different news that they watch than what we get. We're getting like Iran TV, state-run television, telling us what they want you to know, and that's it. Pathetic, and you're falling for it. Not all of you, but everybody take a look around. You got those friends that are just looking at you and they go, you're an idiot. We're doing great. And it's like, dude, I love you. We are not doing great. We are not doing great at all. It's a struggle, and it's getting worse, and it's going to get worse. Speaking of shameful, now I'm going to get into this. Now, again, our chief and leader is old, and let's face it, some people age differently. Okay? Wait. Because I start talking about one thing. Speaking about out of touch, there was an interview with Vanilla Ice. Remember him? Ice Ice Baby? He kind of went away. He had some huge hits in the 80s, and then he disappeared. But the guy managed to take his money, and he started investing it, and he's apparently relatively well off. Living down in South Florida somewhere. He's got a huge car collection. He's into real estate investment, all kinds of stuff. So more power to him. He doesn't have to worry about groceries, okay? But it was a quick piece about, not worrying about stuff and not paying attention about what's going on around us because it's not going to make a difference. And all I can say is he can say that because he can afford to live. So whatever happens, he'll fare through it unless he becomes a slave to the grind, but he's well off enough to where he won't have to be. We're going to become slaves to the grind. The average person, But check out this thing with vanilla. I mean, I there's pros and cons to this quick little segment of this interview, but I'm just saying he's lost touch because he doesn't have to worry about going shopping and feeding a family like most of you do, and not having any money left to put gas in your car to go to work. Check this out.
First of all, I don't vote. I don't care about politics. Never have, never registered, have no opinion about anything, I have fans on both sides of all that, and I would never alienate them. And I just look at it like, you guys get caught up in that mess. You go sit in your voting line. They don't pay you. They don't pay you to go form an opinion about that guy or this guy, but yet you fall victim to all of it, right? Like, turn the news channel off. Go to Florida. This is why Florida exists. We have palm trees and pina coladas while you're sitting in your voting line, watching your news channel going, I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. I don't like what's going on in my life. You're 50-something, right? Like me?
50.
So we've lived through dozens of presidents, man.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing ever changed. Why would you fall victim to the propaganda, to the opinion forming? They don't pay you a penny. Now let's look at the end of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have a list. What did I spend all this time on?
Who did I vote
Let's
for?
calculate all of it together and put it in a circle graph, and then you'll see that the graph that you thought was an hour on TV here one night, 2 hours on TV, watching the news or the debate, or standing in a voting line, and then you'll go, how much did they pay me for any of that? Zero. How much money could I have made with all that time? A lot.
I understand what he's saying on some things, but again, he doesn't have to worry about feeding his family. And all he's talking about, that's all he's saying about getting paid. A lot of people don't get paid like him. Okay. A lot of people get paid not enough to survive. They're working their asses off. Yes, we've survived many presidents, and yes, this crap has gone on the entire time, but never this like this. We're in a different scenario now where we're going to have to take back our country. We're going to have to say enough is enough because we've let all that go through time. It wasn't this bad. This is bad. And sticking your head in the sand, he doesn't vote, he doesn't do this. Okay, sure. You know what? Because that's the young kid talking. But he can afford to not care. Can you? I don't think you can afford to not care. You need to care. Your voices need to be heard because these politicians don't like people that are yelling and calling them out. We'll send them right back into their doghouse. Hate politicians. Really do. Freaking pieces of shit liars. I don't understand this business. I really don't. They don't do nothing except for, they do it all for themselves. There's a few good ones. But right now we have nothing. But explain to me how all these politicians who work on a government service salary have all become multi-millionaires. They're all dipping their hands and doing what's better for them, not for us. Wars make them money. We're losing people in wars. Not their people, your people, kids, children, aunts, uncles, grandmothers, mothers, fathers, relatives. Sucks. That'll be another show. I got plenty of them, believe me. But Vanilla Ice, again, he makes kind of some sense, but that's being out of touch, people. He's not the common person. I'm talking to the normal people, the ones who have to work. If he never worked another day in his life, he's probably okay. Can you do that? I know I can't. It's a difference between making it. I learned when I moved to LA. There was a difference between making it in the music business at the time. The difference is between making it in the music business and having it made. Having it made means if you didn't work anymore, can you live the rest of your life? Making it is like, yeah, you've made it. You're touring with people and you're doing, working with all the big boys, but you didn't write the hit songs. You're making a good salary while you're working. But if Tina Turner, if you went out back when she was alive, if you were working with Tina Turner, you're on every friggin' the stage in the world. So people look at you and go, you're a rock star, which you are. But what they don't realize is that when Tina decides I've had enough, I'm going to take the next 18 months off, where are you going to go work at? Do you have residuals from hit songs back then when they used to make money writing hit songs? Now they don't. Not really. There's a difference. So yeah, you were up there and you traveled and you lived well and you were in all great hotels and everything. But when you come home, the money train stops unless you are that popular that you go to do something else. And hopefully you take your money and start investing it too, because again, it's not residual income. It's actual real life, earning it in real time, making good money, but easy come, easy go. It goes real quick, especially out here, real quick. Ask me how I know. Anyway, so he's lost. Again, I take him with a grain of salt. He's one of the fortunate few. Now let's get back to Biden, because I'm saddened by this, because people age differently. One 80-year-old is not like another. I think a good 80 is pretty much can still stay on top of things. It's once you start hitting your 84s, 85, and it's rightfully so. You're expected. I mean, God, if you can live that long, I mean, my parents lived both into their early 90s, and I'm so thankful for them to be around. But they weren't running marathons. My mother, really suffered. I mean, but she hung in there. She was tough. She came from a tough generation. Both my parents did. World War I and World War II. World War I as children, and then World War II as adults. That's a tough generation. Not the pansies we got going on now. We're in big trouble. Either way, not everybody ages well. And we have a commander-in-chief in the White House, and you can tell me how sharp he is, and you can tell me how on top of it, and man, he does more work in a half a day than most people do in a week. And I'm going to flat out tell you, you're full of shit. You are seriously can't be believing this stuff and telling me this stuff. But that's what they say on TV. So it's got to be true, because they told us how much he does. And I'm not blaming the man for being old. Number one, I don't think he calls the shots anyway. He was put there, and he's just puppet. That's the way it goes. This is what we've got. That's why we have to end all this. But the point is, it's an embarrassment to this country that they keep parading this old man who's rapidly declining. Forget about, I think he's a lying, and we're going to get into this. I don't think half the crap, most of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is all lies. It's been that way his entire career. We will talk about that next. But the thing is, he's having memory issues. He doesn't know which way to go. He falls down. I'm not blaming him for neuropathies and for possibly Parkinson's or whatever is going on with him. Incontinence. He's crapping himself, folks, in public, around dignitaries. He did it in Europe and England, and now he did it again. It's just sad that they keep pushing him out there, because he doesn't know whether he's coming or going. The days that you see him when he did the State of the Union, and he was pretty fired up, and that was like what you wish you had all the time, he's jacked up on something. They gave him something. Don't friggin' kid yourself. Watch. I mean, your eyes can't not, if you're that blind and you choose to bury the truth, he can't not mumble 99% of the time. He doesn't make a damn bit of sense. He can't read teleprompters. He overreads the teleprompters. If you take the teleprompter away from him, they are scared to death that he's going to tell shit that he shouldn't be saying. And for those of you who don't believe me, you really need to go get a checkup. Because we see it every day. We see it every single day. But the guy craps himself. He's got issues going on. And here's how this one guy knows the difference, because he's got kids. So, I mean, check this out. And again, I'm not doing this to make fun of him. It's just sad that we are allowing this to happen at the White House, and his wife is allowing that. All she cares about is being the first lady, period. Check this out. This is kind of funny, sad. But this guy knows, because he has kids. Check him out.
Why don't we break this one down, okay? As a father, if your toddler's just walking and playing and stops and starts to smile, a forced smile like this, that's the shit stance. He's taking a shit in his fucking pants. And that's exactly what Joe Biden's doing right there.
It's true. It's true. I mean, there was a little bit of overemphasis, and somebody was, doctored it up a little bit, but it's true. That guy, he's got issues, and he's old. He's not the good old. He's aged not as well as some people. I've known people in their early 90s that were on fire, doesn't happen to most people. Most people, if you're lucky to even live that age, your average age, I don't know what they're saying is, which is hard for me to believe, but 68, 69, something like that. I don't like that. To me, that's like way too young, but that's just me. That's pathetic. Now this one was narrated, but just recently, Biden went to Normandy to commemorate the D-Day 80 years. Was it 80 years? Of D-Day when they hit Normandy Beach. And he's there, and all of a sudden he craps himself right next to the French president, and then they whisk him off. He just leaves out of nowhere, and they're like, what the hell's going on? I mean, they know what's going on, but he crapped himself. This is not a president. I don't care how good of a guy you think he may be or whatever. It's like a president is a world leader, folks. But they keep him up there because they can tell him what to do, and he doesn't care because he doesn't know whether he's coming or going anyway. They make him believe like he's in charge. It's sad. So this is another one that's been doctored up, narrated, but it's a sad truth. This is what happened. And then they make fun of all these people because they need to be made fun of because they're all friggin' idiots anyway, because they're all following the same agenda, which is not good for us. But check this out. This happened last week, okay?
It appears that the jackass has decided to defecate right here on stage. In spite of the millions of people watching, this elderly fool is sliding a Biden right there on stage. As the jackass fills his tighty-whities with Bidenomics, it seems the disgusting aroma has gotten into Dr. Jill's mouth. As the stench of Bidenomics fills the air, President Macaroni seems to savor the pungent aroma, appearing to chew the fart until his eyes begin to water and he is forced to flee the scene. As the scene unfolds, Madame Macaroni appears to be immune to the stench of Bidenomics. However, she takes a few steps backwards in an apparent attempt to safeguard Dr. Evil's lab coat from any splatterings that could result from the jackass's on-stage defecation. President Macaroni has endured the Bidenomics crop dusting event like a champion. However, he will most likely develop a severe case of pink eye in the coming days, a common workplace hazard of befriending a wrinkly chode, such as Joe.
What they didn't show you in that video is how Dr. Jill, briskly walked him away. They just took him away. And people are like turning around like, where's he going? I mean, half of them knew what the hell happened and where's he going. But this is sad. That was funny. President Macaroni. His wife borrowed Dr. Evil's outfit. So, I'm trying to be lighthearted about this, but this is sad, folks. This is our commander-in-chief of the United States of America. It's not right. And you guys who think that, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread and he's eloquent, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to talk to me and convince me on how I'm missing this. Because my eyes, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't care that the orange man's rough around the edges. I think he's learned a lot from the last presidency, and things are going to get done differently. And they scare you into he's going to be a dictator and this and that. If he was going to do all that shit, he would have done it before. And again, I'm not a Trump lover, but I did think he didn't take shit from China. He didn't take shit from anybody, which is a good thing when you're a world leader. We became strong. That's all that matters. You don't have to like him. You're not living with him. But he is taking care of you. He's got an agenda too. Everybody's got an agenda. You have an agenda. I have an agenda. I want you to watch my show. I want you to love my show. Whether you love me or hate me, it's up to you. But that's what I want, and I'm trying to do that to the best of my ability. Trump has a thing he has to do, and the left and Biden, they have a thing they're trying to do, take over and make you crippled. That's the way it goes. And now here's the grand finale, folks. This is what I want you. I've been waiting the whole show because we're talking about, I know tons of people that can bitch about the orange man and going, he's a liar and he's a cheater. And then you ask him what he's lying about, and they really can't tell you. They really can't tell you. They can't. But see, the beauty of video and audio is like when you're in the limelight, you're documented a lot. Like this show. If somebody wants to call me out on something, there's 7 years worth of show. If you want to go find something I said and prove me wrong that I'm lying about, go for it. That's why I'm an open book, because I don't care. I don't have to remember what I said because I'm not lying. I'm just telling you what I believe is to be the truth. And you don't have to believe me. I just want you to take it in consideration. That's all I ever do. Because sometimes you may change your mind on some things. So the beauty of documentation is that when you're being filmed all the time, there's tons of stuff out there if you really want to go find stuff and find out if you're contradicting yourself. Well, my friends, our leader-in-chief has been videotaped and documented for over 40 years, okay? Over 40 years. And if you think he's so honest and loyal and faithful, he hasn't done nothing for 40 years. He's a lucky, lucky man. He's lied his way through everything. And I'm going to prove it to you. And then you could tell me to go to hell. But we had a thing. I used to record. I used to do a lot of songwriters. I used to record real drum tracks for songwriters. Back in the day, they had crappy little drum machines. And then they want to get the song, make the song better. And they wanted Greg Bissonette, but they couldn't afford Greg Bissonette. So they'd hire me, because I was the next best thing to an affordable. I wasn't in Greg's price range at the time. And we'd be recording. And if somebody screwed up, they rolled the tape back. Okay? Because why? They wanted to hear what went down. Because I could say I wasn't rushing. Because it happens. I mean, some songs were like, I had some certain tempos that were like really would mess with me. Some of them I lock into no problem. You're playing to a click. Tick, 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 boom, 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 boom. Slow, fast, playing around the click. You listen to the tape. And if somebody hit a bad note, rewind the tape. The moral to the story was, tape don't lie. That was one of the biggest phrases in the studio. Tape don't lie. It's that simple. It's real simple. I didn't make it up. It's the truth. I like the truth. It's really easy to talk about the truth. It's when you're lying all the time. It's hard. You get frustrated because you're lying. So, same thing here. Our commander-in-chief of the United States of America has been in office for over 40 years. And he's been documented. So I'm going to play, this is a rather lengthy, but this is to prove to you people who are hating the orange man and saying what a liar he is and can't really tell me about the lies. I don't even want to get into the him being convicted of a misdemeanor, but now it's called a felony. You just want to believe that. And they because they made all this shit up to make you really hate the orange man. Who cares? I'm going to talk about that stuff too, because apparently you forgot about John F. Kennedy screwing Marilyn Monroe. You forgot about Clinton, Paula Jones, and Monica Lewinsky, and paying all them off. You've forgotten about them, huh? Doesn't matter what they do about that. I can give a shit. Go screw whoever you want to screw. Just make the country be good for you and me. But anyway, here's tens of years of documentation, some quick clips about how honest Joe Biden is with all the truths that he says. He's so truthful, and you expect me to believe everything that he's saying? Here, so you decide. All right, we'll talk about that. Here we go.
I had a very close relationship with the Greek American community, for real. I am Joe Bidenopoulos. I grew up in a heavily Irish Catholic community in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and a heavily Italian Polish community. When I say I got raised in the black church, he knows I'm not kidding. The Persian culture is amazing. As a student of the Persian culture, I probably went to shul more than many of you. I come out of the black community. The background of my family is Irish American, not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people. I, you might say, raised in the synagogues in my state. Everyone in town was either Polish or Italian. I grew up feeling self-conscious. My name didn't end in an SKI. I was raised in a neighborhood where I felt self-conscious. My name didn't end in O. That's kind of how I was raised, like so many Americans of Irish heritage.
In HBCU in your home state, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, forget about it. That's right. That's where I got raised, man. Just like rabbis, synagogues, and Jewish community centers in your hometowns, and that's the tradition I got raised. Hard-working people, the middle class, the neighborhoods I got raised in. I was raised on GM. I was raised by Danny Inouye. I was raised by a righteous Christian. I got raised. And let's remember, no barriers too thick nor too strong for Ireland or the United States of America, especially today. There's nothing, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, there's nothing our nations can't achieve if we do it together. I really mean it. So thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go lick the world. Let's get it done.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. It is noteworthy that the percentage of women who registered to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line. Women are not without electoral and or political, or maybe precise, not and or political power. That's another way of saying that you, the women of America, can determine the outcome of this issue. I don't think the court, or for that,
actually have an impact. Now, the second piece you're talking about, which is what people usually mean by election reform, how are you going to keep it from us being able to be in a position where you can manipulate the machines, manipulate the records?
If a man will lie about how his wife died to defame an innocent truck driver, what else would he not do?
At least twice, Biden himself has made public references to alcohol being involved in the crash. In 2007, Biden said the truck driver, quote, allegedly drank his lunch. And multiple news outlets, including CBS News, have reported that Dunn was drunk. The police reports have been lost. But Delaware Judge Jerome Herlihy, who investigated the crash, supports Hamill. He tells CBS News there was no indication that the truck driver had been drinking. Last fall, a spokesman for Biden said Biden fully accepts the Dunn family's word that these rumors were false.
What you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that.
I say this as a father of a man who won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal, and lost his life in Iraq.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania don't come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is that Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, in all the times I've ever used it.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
Believe everything he says, because nothing but truth comes out of his mouth. Years and years of lying. He continually gets busted and just continues to lie. That's balls. That's balls. Don't care. That's when you're that powerful, don't care. Say whatever you want to say, and that's basically it. Hold on a second. There's a guy that's on here. This guy, hang on. This guy named Jonathan Carpenter. Jonathan, he's asking me, hey, how you doing? How you doing okay? What's up? It's like, hey, Jonathan, I'm right in the middle of a show. I'm doing great, but I'm doing a show, whoever you are. So, yeah, thanks. Hope you're doing well, too. But I'm kind of in the middle of the show, and, we can't really talk like, what'd you do today? You know what I mean? Because I'm in the middle of a show. But thanks for asking. Every day I wake up is great. So have a nice day. Hope that satisfied whoever that. Have a feeling it's kind of spamish. See, he wants my attention. Oh, well, I guess you're not dealing with that. Oh, sorry. No, it's all good, Jonathan. It's just, how am I doing? I'm like, what do you want me to do for you? What can I do for you? I mean, if you comment on the on the subject matter, it's one thing, but just don't be sorry. Just common sense. I want you to watch. I appreciate you watching, but if you have an opinion on some of this stuff, great, but I can't just stop because I have stuff to do. And that's it. If you got an opinion, post it. I'll show it. But I love you for watching, and thank you. Maybe perhaps on another day when we're having, open mic night or whatever, it's all good. All right, cool. Thank you. I hope you do. Because, I'm just trying to make a point here, and the clock is ticking. So we can't just do, I feel bad that it felt I ignored you, but I didn't. I got a lot of things going on, and I'm going, how you doing? It's like, I think you can tell how I'm doing. I'm doing good. Or at least I feel like I'm doing good. That's up to you how I'm doing. Anyway, but thank you. You want to do me a favor? Subscribe. Share. Let's make this bigger. If there's stuff that you want to see that you like, there's thousands of shows. There's not thousands. There's tens of hundreds of shows. And with all different topics. But back to Biden real quick. So I need to finish that. The man lied his entire career. Yes, I am doing good, Jonathan. I am doing good. I just told you that. I am doing good. I always do good. I am grateful for every day. I hope you're doing well, too. I'm going to finish this show up here because we got to go. A man has lied his entire career. Sorry, I just feel bad. I don't like ignoring people, but I don't know what to say. He's lied his entire career. He's been a truck driver. He's been raised by Protestants. He's been raised by African Americans. He's been raised by Muslims. He lied. Every place he goes, he becomes that. It's all right there. So please don't tell me. Please don't tell me that we're. Oh look, no, Gene. Oh, a blast from the past. Hello, Gene. Thank you for watching. I love you. Don't get to talk to you much because it's hard. Things are moving fast, but we're all still here. So thank you. Nothing that comes out of his mouth is the truth. Okay. And again, that video pretty much sums it all up because as we said in the recording business, and now we can say it on video media, video don't lie. Now, and now there's all this new AI stuff, and if you're not watching good, they can make things look like they're saying and this and that. You have to be really, but this is stuff from the past. It's all the truth. I've watched the actual shows, the news cuts from the times when those came out. He's a liar. That's our commander, and he's lying to you too, lying to everybody. And I'm sorry, I don't think he's that graceful. He did not unify this country. He divided this country more. But what do I know? I just watch what's going on around us. I see all the people that love him spew hatred about, thinking that we're all crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm just common sense. I'm not a Trump lover, okay? So before you start attacking me, I'm just, things aren't working good, okay, guys? Things are not really working good, but yet you'll stick by him because you don't want to bear the orange man again. The only man who's got the guts enough to say, screw you, government. This is screwed up, and we're going to turn it around and fix it. And I'm glad he's got an ego, because he's got an ego that will fix it, because that's the way he's wired. So let him fix it. 4 more years, and then it's going to go to somebody else. Hopefully that's going to, not let us go backwards again. We've gotten destroyed in less than 3 years. We've been reduced to shit. The whole world's laughing at the United States of America. Enough is enough. And for those of you that agree, thank you. For those of you that don't agree, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. You're entitled to yours. Like I said, I will not like you, especially if you're a friend. I got tons of friends. I saw a friend the other day. I know he hates the orange man. But I'm not going to not like him. We've got 40 years of acquaintance and, friendship, played music, all of the above. There's 1 or 2 things out of the whole rest of the stuff that made us friends. Unfortunately, and everybody's entitled. You can't. Just because I like broccoli doesn't mean you have to like broccoli. I'm not going to hate you for that either. Just don't give me Brussels sprouts. As good as they are for you and healthy as they are for you, I'm not into Brussels sprouts. Collard greens much either, and that's good stuff. I'm not going to hate you, but this is our country. And again, show me how we are doing so good. This is the problem. The biggest problem I have is because you're not going to convince me by telling me because you saw it on CNN or the Washington Post. I'm showing you these things here, and take it or leave it. That's it. But that's it. All right? I'll let you take a breather until I get to do this again, which will be in a couple of weeks. But because there's so much stuff to talk about. Our border's a mess. They're not talking about it, but we are going down. We are sinking. They don't know what to do. And if those of you think that Biden just shut the border down, that's the farthest from another big lie. Lies. It's all lies. They tell you that, and you just take it, and okay, well, good. You shut the border down, and then they keep doing what they're doing. Shame on you guys for just allowing this to happen. Speak. And for those of you who are willing to listen and hopefully will start coming around and start paying more attention, good. That's what you're supposed to do. Not everybody's supposed to come in at the same time, as like Matt Kim said a couple of weeks ago. Either way, speaking of time, I want to remind you once again, next week, I'm going to bring in Vicky from Voices with Vicky. She's a lesbian. It's Pride Month. I hate that they were given a month for. It's just nonsense. Okay, I think if you're gay, you're gay. Be gay. I know it was a struggle. I know it wasn't easily accepted. I get that. I know it was challenging, but why don't our veterans get a month? The guys who gave their lives for this country. The guys who, because of them, is why you get to roam free. Because of them is why you get to say whatever the hell you want to say and not be executed for it. Some countries, it's that way. But it's getting that way pretty soon. They're shutting it down. They don't like what I say. Boom, they just take it right off. And all the other people, too. It's gotten bad. It's getting to get worse, too, if we allow it. But if you stand up and speak up, they can't have all us going against them because we make the world go round. There's only a small handful of them. I can't say that enough. But if you fall for their game, they're gonna push you as far as you're gonna go. They've been doing it in little increments since COVID, and they're doing real good at it. It was a good program. They sold that lie real good. I don't blame you for falling for it, but enough is enough. Time to go, wow, I can't believe I fell for that. But then again, I do believe you because they sold it real well. Wake up, all right? I love you all, I do. But next week, Wednesday, June 19th, Vicky from Voices with Vicky. She's got a podcast. She's a newbie to the podcast world and stuff like that. And She's another one who doesn't like all the nonsense that's going on with the LGBTQ plus MOUSE and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, she's a married lesbian to another woman, and they just want to live. And she doesn't like all this over attention for all the attention whores that are in that organization that think that, like, now we have to, everything has to be gay to live. It just doesn't work that way. So she's going to be on, and I guarantee it's going to be interesting because, and we're going to have some fun with it because I don't care what you are, who your sexual preference is, what your color is, what you do for a living, what you don't do for a living. I care about if you're a decent human being or if you're a piece of crap. That's what I care about. I want to deal with all the decent people in the world. I don't give a shit. You know, it doesn't affect me if you marry another woman or another man marries another. It's like, okay, live your life. Not bothering me. Just be productive. Be a decent human being, and I'm cool. And she's going to be on, and we're going to talk about that stuff next week in honor of, so I could say I did my pride thing. I don't have a flag. Hey! But these guys, I mean, some of these organizations, they're just over the top and they demand recognition. And it's like, go screw yourself. You know, it's like, I want recognition too, but, you know, I work for it. But even then, I don't get it. But I got no respect. No respect. Ugh, I got no respect. Lastly, please subscribe. I'm trying to keep from getting shut down on some of these channels. Go to YouTube, subscribe. Official Facebook Peter G Show. That's pretty strong. They don't mess with me, but go to YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. All the shorts are on Instagram. Can't get arrested on Instagram. To TikTok's another one. They shut down certain videos. I'm sure that this week's short clips are going to be prime material for them. They're all part of the whole censorship thing because that's the way it is. Until we speak up and say, screw it, you know, and then they can't. They got to have us. They need us, or they don't have or they got a product that's useless. So subscribe. And I know you're busy. A lot of people are busy. I thank you for watching. But for those of you who don't have time to watch the Peter G Show, you can listen to it on audio podcast. Put an earbud in your ear when you're in your car driving. You know, it's simple. You can just look up Google Peter G Show podcast, and, you know, there's 400 shows to choose from alcoholism to funny stuff to talking about all the problems in this country to doctors giving, you know, health and wellness tips, you know, dating, divorce and single parenting, you name it. It's a lot of stuff. I cover a lot of ground. Why? Because I've lived long enough to go through all this crap and know enough to talk about it. It's life. I'm grateful. I'm still here to talk about it. I tend to keep on talking about it because I love it and I love you. So please subscribe. And that's basically it. I got one song I want to leave you guys with. I got a guy who wrote a song. And before we go out, I'm going to play this song for you. And then we'll see you next week with Vicky, lesbian Vicky from Voices with Vicky podcast. But before we leave, I also, as always, want to remind you, thank you for watching the Peter G Show. I appreciate you very much. I love you more than you know. I know I can't do it without you. And I need you. It's real simple. I need you, but I am willing to work for your support. This is what I do. Because without you, who am I going to do a show for? So I thank you. However, it's a tough world out there. Everybody's struggling. And a lot of people are having a hard time. And it's very frustrating. And it makes people do stupid things, drastic things. And life's a bitch. So I'm telling you and reminding you that no matter how hard it gets, you know, you don't have to take a lot of crap from people. Still, you know, you're entitled to for your own self-respect, no matter how tough things are or how little money you have. Doesn't matter whether you have $50 or $5 million. You're still a human being and hopefully a good human being. And that's all that matters. How you lived your life is how you'll be remembered. So please, you don't have to take a lot of shit from people, but you don't have to be an ass either. You don't. You can you know, just take a breath before you speak. Something I've been learning over these past few years because I started going off the deep end too. I went into problems with my life, divorce and all that kind of stuff that just was driving me crazy. I mean, I'm just a guy. You know, I'm a guy who likes to enjoy and not be going through a bunch of, who wants to go through crap? Nobody does. But that's part of life. I've definitely learned from it. Here I am. That's why I'm an open book. But be kind. I guess that's what I'm saying. No matter what, try to be kind. You don't know what somebody is going through, whether they speak to you or have their head down, whether they're homeless, whether they're drug addicts. Just be kind. It could always be worse. No matter what you're going through, it can always be worse. Even if you think you're at rock bottom, there's a rock bottom. And then there's death. And it's a shame. All right? My name is Peter G. I love you for joining. Thank you for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast, right here. Thank you again. Here, I'm going to leave you with a song. And as always, I love you guys. And peace out. Enjoy this song.
Obama killed his chef. Obama killed his chef. Everyone on the right and everyone on the left knows Obama killed his chef. Oh no! Obama killed his chef. Obama killed his chef. He's responsible for the man's death. Obama killed his chef. Oh no!
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce